Picture this. You're walking in the middle of the city. You never know anything about the people that you walk by, each of them living their entirely own lives, and to you, they're just someone that you're passing by. But later that day, you notice that you have a notification. That same person you walked past had one thing alike with you, and you would have never known. This is what StreetPass brought to the world around 10 years ago, and now it's somewhat obsolete. But what if they tried it one more time? StreetPass was originally introduced with the 3DS in 2011, but over the years, less and less people are using it. Even whenever it was first getting started, if you didn't really live in a big city, it was very rare for you to actually get a StreetPass. And sadly, I was just getting into 3DS games after the StreetPass was a fairly big thing, so actually experiencing it was practically impossible. And also, I live in Ohio, so what are the chances? But this feature was never really a focus point and wasn't utilized very much. I mean, the only way that you could get one is walking past someone that just so happened to have their 3DS on sleep mode, and after the 3DS was done being new, the chances were really low, and you know, all you get with getting a StreetPass was just a message and a little bit of information about their Mii. But the concept of this to me is, it just seems so fun. I mean, I still hear people talking about planning events or meeting up to get StreetPasses and get more people in their plaza, and it's just really neat. But with the release of the Nintendo Switch, many of these fun features were not present and pretty much got removed. And this got me thinking, with the new Switch Successor coming soon, what could StreetPass be like today? StreetPass on the 3DS did work well due to the size of the console. I mean, it was easy to put in your pocket or bag and take with you places. But the Nintendo Switch can't fit like the 3DS did unless you have big ass pockets like me. But still, almost 8 years in with the Switch, I still see people bringing it with them all the time. This does lower the chances of the feature ever being used though, mainly because the size of the system and it just has lesser portability compared to the 3DS. StreetPass would never work like this and would be useless to implement. But what if it wasn't a part of the main system itself? What if it could be a separate accessory that isn't a part of the body? Now, I'm not a big engineer coding guy, and I don't know the technology that it would take to put into this, but this is just a concept I'm coming up with. But the overall idea of this is just what works best for me. As I picture it, this is what Switchpass could really be like. Now, for this concept, I feel like the best way to do this feature would be like an included accessory, something extra that, you know, isn't wasting power on the main console and it's not a part of the main console, so you don't always have to take it around with you. What I'm picturing is something like an Apple AirTag, but small enough to go on like a keychain and not be super obtrusive, or could clip onto a backpack or something like that. Now, obviously, it would be smart for them to sell them separately just in case people want extras or end up losing theirs, but it should definitely come with the console as well. I could also see customization being a big thing. I mean, you get a base one with the console, but I mean, imagine getting custom ones and theme them towards you with like little pictures on them or something. You know, make it like a trend where it's like, hello TikTok, I just made the cutest Switchpass and you're gonna want to stick around to see more. But you're probably wondering how all of this would work. I mean, is it connected to data or does it have to be near the Switch? And the answer is neither. Now, I don't know how this technology would be able to work, but here's just the base idea that would probably be the best to see come out of this. So when you first get the console, if you do want to set it up, you'd have to register your account on your Switch like normal. Then whenever you're doing all your setup stuff with the NFC reader, you'd hold the base of the Switchpass accessory thing and it would register your Nintendo ID to the accessory. So it'll be a completely separate part and is not connected to the Switch. It's just registered to the same information. Now that the Nintendo ID data is connected, that's all the internet usage that's needed for this. I feel like the two best functions to add to this would be pass by and tap. And you know, maybe a third one. Maybe the third function could be subscribing. Is that one smooth? Was that one? Never mind. Okay, you know what? Pass by would be exactly like what you'd think, okay? It's just like the StreetPass, but instead of going directly to the StreetPass app, you'd store the information on the little device, and then whenever you get home or wherever your console is, you use the most likely upgraded NFC reader and it would transfer all the information it would need. But you don't have to do this all the time. I mean, I feel like the best thing to do would be a tiny green light like what was on the 3DS when there's any data that has been picked up on the SwitchPass thing. Then you tap the switch and it transfer your data, and you can save the player information and maybe send a friend request. You know, I'm not sure if this is the safest idea. Since there isn't direct chatting on Nintendo Online, it shouldn't be the worst. But you know, I feel like the solution to this would be probably choosing if you want to have a public account when you're registering or a private account, but other people can still like have the information, like the little me character that you have on there saved, and then be able to show off how many people that they've walked by. To solve this problem, the other function that I mentioned earlier would come into use: tap. So tap would basically give each person the same information. Then when you get home, they would instantly be on your friends list. So it's basically like another Apple feature that I'm just straight up stealing, is how you can tap your phones together and get the contact information. Basically that, but built into the little Switchpass. This technology has got to be advanced, I'm just saying that much. This would be perfect for finding friends or easily sharing information. I mean, I wouldn't see this being used very much, but it could definitely be a good addition. I could picture this being something like that one Pokeball they released for the Switch. But with this accessory, it could, you know, like start a new revolution like what Pokemon Go did, you know. I mean, you know, getting Nintendo fans out of the house, that's a game changer. But I could just imagine running into people that had them and stuff like that. I mean, gathering events and everything. It could be great. And possibly games could integrate it somewhat like Mario Kart, maybe sneak some people in the crowd or get some outfits or something. I don't know. Switchpass just has so much potential. Now, the thing is, would people really use this? And the only way I can see this working is if there's an actual reason to use this. Okay, so good advertising, maybe solid social media coverage, which would make some people want the new Switch for mainly just this feature. Trends do actually go a long way for technology. I mean, you saw how the Wii performed. That was literally just a trend. That was just a repackaged GameCube. But this little addition could make a big impact on the Nintendo community and could make something new that a lot of people would like. Does this mean that Nintendo would ever go to the lengths it would take to make something like this? Probably never. Okay, so this would be a great thing to add and a good upgrade for the next Switch. And old fans of the 3DS would want to try this out too, but I doubt anything like this would ever happen. Maybe a third-party company can make a device something like this and Nintendo would catch on, but that is literally the best case scenario. And you know, I don't know, let me know what you guys would want to see in the next StreetPass if it was going to be on the next Nintendo console, because you know, with a Switch, it's hard to take with you everywhere. But just StreetPass itself has so much potential. So let me know what your guys' ideas would be. Just, you know, let me know in the comments what you think would work best, or in my Discord. I mean, it's link in the description if you really want to join. Switchpass would work well if the technology was new and could really be utilized. Only if Nintendo would ever be willing to take a risk like that. But also if they did end up doing it, the chances of them including it with the console would be very low. But you know, who knows what they'd include. They'd include this piece of